Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And for those of you who are new or who might not have seen my previous videos, welcome to the channel. And for those of you who might have seen my previous videos, welcome to a revamp because this is a completely new sort of thing that I'm going to do. We're going to make many different types of videos. I'll be sure to present various types of analysis, content, whatever you want to call it. And if I'm not gonna force any of you to subscribe, but if you do like what I'm doing, then please consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps the channel grow. It helps more people engage with it. So do share it around if you like it. My links are also in the description. So my social links, Twitter, Instagram. You can reach out to me there if you want to talk about football, anything about football. I'm always up for it. So yeah, consider subscribing if you do enjoy the videos that I make, the content that I make. Anyway, moving on to the topic at hand today, which is I was thinking about what topic I should do to start with, and coincidentally, it just comes at a time when I think this is a good topic to talk about. And for me, it is what is wrong with Liverpool Football Club, or what has gone wrong with Liverpool Football Club. Just the men's team, how they've struggled in the Premier League, and you can call it being bad champions, as Roy Keane did on the show, that they haven't been good champions. They've struggled to retain their title, and might have also put their Champions League place in jeopardy with 5 games remaining. They drew to Newcastle at the time of recording of this video, so they might have put their Champions League position in jeopardy. No trophies this season, obviously, but we're going to explore a few points as to why Liverpool have struggled so much. And trust me, when I thought of this idea, my first conclusion was it has to be defensive problems. It has to be the loss of Van Dijk and Gomez and whoever. But trust me, once I did a little bit of research and got my points ready, it is a big part, the defensive bit, but it isn't the whole story. It isn't the complete story. So, we're just going to start off with the first point, which is Van Dijk and Gomez. So Liverpool's we know that Liverpool lost Virgil van Dijk and Joe Gomez to the two main centre backs. The top 2 centre backs to long-term injuries. Both have been out since October, November, and even Joel Matip has remained unfit and injured for most part of the season. So Liverpool don't have their main centre backs, and that obviously does make a huge difference, because I feel like sometimes when we look at the average Liverpool formation, in some places I saw a 4-2-4, in some places it was a 4-3-3, but we'll just go with what Liverpool could play in with the absences that they have. So as you can see, we've got Fabinho, who's slotted into defense alongside Kabak, Trent and Robertson there, Milner and the front three, Van Dijk out, Gomez out, Matip out, and the big one as well, which I'm going to come to in a bit, Jordan Henderson being out. So you can see that Fabinho, who is naturally a CDM, slotted into defense alongside January signing Ozan Kabak, who obviously, although he is playing good, I think he's been very decent. I feel like he's had problems, adapting to the Premier League a little bit, the pace of the Premier League and everything. I don't blame him at all, but it's just the way it goes. So you can see the average Liverpool formation here, and I think here when you remove the likes of Fabinho and Kabak, sorry, I'll just remove that. But when you remove the likes of Fabinho and Kabak, and if you put in Van Dijk and Gomez here, it makes a lot of difference, because I think the first thing that Van Dijk and Gomez give you is pace. Now Van Dijk is a sensational defender because he's got pace, he's got strength, physicality, whatever you want to call it. He's dangerous from set pieces, and his defensive reading of the game obviously is brilliant. So Virgil van Dijk, apart from what he gives the team in terms of his quality, I think he also brings sort of a leadership, a sort of composure at the back for Liverpool. He makes Trent, Robertson and Gomez better players when he's playing. So when Van Dijk and Gomez are playing, I think the one thing that Liverpool are able to do very well, and I'll highlight it here, is playing a very high line. They can play a high line because Van Dijk is fast, Gomez is fast. So you can take the risk of playing a little bit higher up. And I also feel like Liverpool dominate possession when Van Dijk and Gomez are playing. They have more of the ball. I don't think I can provide evidence for that, but I just feel like when I used to see them play, Liverpool did have more of the ball. They do seem to lose it more. I don't know nowadays. But that's one thing, right? The fact that Liverpool can play a high line. The problem when you remove Gomez and Van Dijk is when you put in Kabak and Fabinho is these two are not as quick as Van Dijk and Gomez. The problem that Liverpool have had is that even without Van Dijk and Gomez, they're trying to play a high line, which has put them in all sorts of trouble, right? So you put Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson, and you combine the fullbacks with the high line, right? These two are very high up the pitch, as you can see. They'll always look to attack the flanks, these spaces that I've highlighted. Trent and Robertson will always look to go into these areas because they're so good at what they do with their crossing and everything. But at the same time, you have to know that when Trent and Robertson move that high up, you're gonna leave Fabinho and Kabak exposed, and when that happens, you're in deep trouble because these two are not quick, and anyone else, any fast striker, any fast winger can exploit these two so easily. And we've seen it happen to Liverpool. But having said that, the defense has not been shambolic. They haven't conceded 4 goals every game. That could have been the case, but they haven't conceded 4 goals every game. And the way you can see this in the Premier League is if I open up a few stats. So you can see that this season Liverpool have played 33 games and they've conceded 39 goals, right? While if you look at the 2019-20 season, the last season, which was Liverpool's, I think, best season under Jurgen Klopp, best Premier League season under Jurgen Klopp, they played 38 games, so that's 5 more games, and they conceded 33 goals, right? So they conceded 33 goals throughout the 2019-20 campaign, and this season they've conceded, 6 more with 5 games to go. So it's not shambolic. Yes, it's natural that they conceded more goals, but at the same time, it's not like they conceded 33 last season and 66 this season. It's not really that. So their defense hasn't been shambolic. Yes, they have been exploited in ways, and I also think it comes down a little bit to just individual form. I think when you highlight Trent Alexander-Arnold, he hasn't had a good season at all. I think all of us know that, and he's been poor. Robertson for me has been consistent, but again, it's just about the high line. If you're that high up the pitch and you're not tracking back to help your defenders, or if you're not quick enough, then it becomes a huge problem, right? So that's the defensive issue. Another thing I would like to talk about, and this I mentioned earlier in the video, was Jordan Henderson's presence. Now, if you remove Milner from here and you put in Henderson in this sort of a position, I think there are so many different things Henderson brings to this Liverpool side when he's playing. Firstly, leadership. I think Jordan Henderson, probably one of the best leaders in the Premier League last couple of years, last 4-5 years. He has been excellent. He's led Liverpool to a title, and I think he just brings that sort of, I don't know, it's just the leadership on the pitch. You control your team. You you motivate them to do better. You inspire them to do better, and you yourself are a great player. So I think what Jordan Henderson does, 2 things I would like to highlight. Firstly, is dropping into these spaces here. Okay, Jordan Henderson, a lot of the times you'll see him roaming up and down in these spaces, and what that helps him do is, because Henderson's distribution is so good, right? He can ping long balls to the other flank, so wherever he's playing. So if he's on the right side, then he can ping a ball towards Mane, and if Robertson's gone forward, then him. And if Henderson's on the other side, you can expect a ball towards Salah, or if Trent has made some sort of an overlapping run or anything like that, right? Let me just remove these lines very quickly. But yeah, you can see what Henderson does, right? And it helps Liverpool a lot because it helps them build up quicker. When Henderson doesn't do that, Liverpool build up slowly, and that gives the other people, the sort of opposition, it gives them time to settle down, and then they can defend Liverpool's attacks, because the build-up is slow. Similarly, if I'll just remove Kabak from here and put Van Dijk in, what Van Dijk brings is his distribution, right? We've seen countless times this ball from Van Dijk towards Salah, the long pass that goes, right? And sometimes it's Trent. And it helps Liverpool build up so much more quicker, right? While it isn't the case when uh, when Van Dijk is not there, because Kabak, I think he doesn't play those balls. We haven't ever seen him try those kind of long balls. Fabinho, yes, sometimes, and Gomez also does it when he's there. But I think Van Dijk, the way he plays those balls, it just helps Liverpool attack so much faster, because the ball's already covered so much of a distance towards Salah or Trent, and then everyone else is running into the channels. So that I think is another big miss. But what I want to highlight in this video, and you can talk about Thiago and Jota and everything. I did think I would talk about them actually. If you want, I'll just take a couple of minutes to talk about them. For me, I think Thiago hasn't really settled in the club, because I know he can play so many different positions, but I just feel like Klopp hasn't found the right position to play him in. His distribution, passing range, vision, excellent, right? But if you're not playing in the correct position, I think it does end up being a problem. And Jota has been excellent. I think the only problem is injuries, and I don't know. It's then becomes a question of who do you drop? Who do you drop between Mane and Salah? If you want to play Jota, or do you play all four of them? Because even that hasn't worked out, right? But I'm just going to come to the biggest problem, and I'm going to highlight what Liverpool's biggest problem has been this season, which I think you guys might have realized already. The front three, the fabled, fabulous front three, who no more are fabulous, or at least haven't been this season. Liverpool, again, I'll just bring you back to the stats. So now looking at 2021, you look at goals scored. So Liverpool have scored 55 goals in the league, with 1.67 goals per match and 512 shots. Right. Look at the difference when I switch it to last season. Last season they played 5 more games and they scored 30 more goals. They scored a total of 85 goals last season. 85 goals, 2.24 goals every game. That's a huge difference to what has happened this season and what happened last season. It's a big difference. And you have to, I think, put a little bit of blame on the attack also, because they've been inconsistent, lack of confidence. There's so much there, right? But for me, they've just not been firing, right? You're scoring lesser goals. You're not being able to win games because you're scoring lesser goals. And it's not like Liverpool haven't been creating chances. Yes, that Anfield slump they had in between, they sort of lost out on creating chances as well. But recently they have been creating chances, and first half of the season also they were doing it. So at the end of the day, it's just about Mane, Salah, and Firmino not being clinical enough. I don't know what the problem is. It could be lack of confidence or whatever, but you don't expect it from a team like Liverpool, who have been so good over the last 2 years. They have dominated the Premier League. They dominated it last year. 18-19, they just got unlucky because City were a little bit better. So that, and I think at the end of the day, it just comes down to that attacking front three. I don't know what's going wrong with them, because they make the runs that they used to make. Salah still goes into those channels and lets Trent make the overlap. Mane still goes into those channels, and Robertson's that high up. Firmino is dropping deep, around this area if you want. Firmino's still dropping deep here to make whatever he wants to. He's making it happen. But if you put these two back, it's not clicking in some way. You get a chance and you're not putting it away. That's been the issue. That's been the biggest problem for Liverpool, and it's cost them ultimately. You can talk about defensive problems and not having Henderson, but it's cost them, right? The front three not scoring goals has cost them, and this is a huge statistic. They have 5 more games. They're not going to score 30 goals in those 5 games this season, so they're going to end up with a lesser goal tally from last season, and similarly at a lower position. But you can see what the problem is with Liverpool, right? Defensive, yes, I get it. A lot of you are going to criticize me if I say that defensively they've not had a problem. They obviously have, because Van Dijk's distribution and everything he offers, and even Gomez, it is very crucial, right? I'm not going to disagree with any of you on that. But I think fair criticism also has to be given to their attack, because they haven't been firing. It hasn't worked out. The midfield has been a problem at times, because I think Klopp has also rotated a little bit more. So you give chances to like Curtis Jones. So when Henderson has been out, like you can see, either Jones has come in, or initially we had Milner there. Milner's come in. Milner's been playing that role, and although Milner gives you the work rate, he doesn't give you what Henderson gives you, which is distribution and the vision and everything for the passing. So you can talk about that. So I think my problem with Liverpool has to be their attack this season. Yes, defensive problems as well. Attack individually, people have been poor. You can talk about Trent, Mane, Firmino, everyone. I think even Van Aldum's been a little bit here and there this season. Although he's been great, but he's been a little bit here and there. Alisson, some of the mistakes he's made has cost Liverpool so dearly. So I think it comes down to a load of factors. The attack not firing, defensively you lose your main centre backs, and ultimately in the midfield as well, you're not linking it up then properly. So I think that's what my problem has been with Liverpool this season. They've struggled clearly. No trophies coming to Anfield this year. They had their Anfield streak broken and they went on a completely different streak. And I don't know what to say about that. But yeah, I think they'll be better next season when Van Dijk and everyone is back. Obviously, I think we'll see the same old Liverpool side that dominated the league in 1920, the 1920 season. And yeah, I mean, that because you want to see a Liverpool team play like that, because even as a City fan, I do feel very bad for Liverpool. So that's it from my end. Do let me know in the comments down below what you think. If you disagree with my points, let me know. If you agree with them, you can put in your thoughts. Again, you can reach out to me on Twitter or Instagram. Links are in the description. And finally, before I leave you, do consider subscribing again. It'll help the channel grow. And I will see you guys in the next